Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or as we like to say here at Shady Acres Wood Shop, howdy. Today we have a piece of dogwood. This comes to us from Robert Keys in Mississippi. The piece is 7.5 by 5.5 by 2.5. I think we're going to make a winged bowl out of this. I was going to turn it with a natural edge with this up, this side up, but instead we're going to go with this side up. Can you see that pink color? Is the pink showing up in there? That's what I want to show on this piece. I want the grain and the color to be the star of the show rather than the natural edge. So you can see I've drilled a hole for my woodworm screw. You can also see I've filled in one crack. That's the only crack I see in the piece. And that's in a little bit of pith that remains there. But it doesn't go, it only goes about 1/8 of an inch up here. So I don't think it'll be an issue. I just didn't want it to separate while I was turning it. Let's get it over here to the lathe, get it mounted up. That's such a nice flat top, and I've got such a good hold on there with the woodworm screw, I don't think we're going to need any tailstock support. Robert also sent me a piece of walnut. That was his main reason for sending wood. But I took one look at it and I talked to him about it and I said, you know, I don't want to turn that walnut. The shape of it reminds me of a bandsaw box. I've made only 3 bandsaw boxes in my life and I enjoyed the process thoroughly. So I might consider making a bandsaw box video. Would that be of any interest to anyone? I'm going to see if I can put a poll question right up here in the right hand corner of your screen. A poll question. You can click on that and you can answer the poll. Yes, bandsaw box would be cool, or stick to wood turning, Phil. We'll see how that goes. You can click that little icon at any time during the video and still continue to watch the video. 5/8 inch bowl gouge, I guess, to get started. Mask and face shield on, 750 RPM. Just want to mark out for a tenon, or actually I think I'm going to go with a recess. I'm going to switch to a 3/8 inch bowl gouge. Well, I guess what I thought was I was creating something that I'd never seen before, but the more I look at this, I think I created this a couple of months ago. I can't remember the name of the video, something like, what the heck is that, or something along those lines. So I think I've already done this. Star Wars, a TIE fighter, maybe that's what it was. Anyway, I don't want to do it again. Maybe we'll go back to just a winged bowl. Yeah, I've already done this now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, we'll go back to a winged bowl. I'm going to take these off. We'll just go up here, have a flat top, flat edges. I think that was a 1 of a kind and I don't want it to be a 2 of a kind. Back to a 5/8 inch bowl gouge. Okay, I'm going to come in from all the way out here and go in a little past where I am. This is just about flush right here. So I'm just laying my chisel on its side, just entering the point to cut this off. Go straight in there. Very nice. I'm going to try and do some shear scraping under here. Boy, that's pretty, huh? So pink. And we still have a couple of natural edges, and I think we'll leave those just as they are. A little light sanding. Yeah, I don't think I can do much better than that. I'm going to use my Dovetail tool to finish up the recess. Looks like this. Time for sanding. I'm going to start the sanding with my Sandoflex. I'm going to sand the natural edges and these two saw cut ends. I'm going to leave the saw cuts, but I'm going to smooth them out with my Sandoflex. And I hope to leave some of the weathering on the two sides, but I just want to smooth it out a little bit. And after I've done that at 180 grit on the Sandoflex, then I'll switch to my 2-inch disc sander, starting at 80 grit. Even though it's pretty smooth, I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. And I'll sand up through 400, and I'll show you how all that's going to work as soon as I get my mask on. And that's just a sample. I'll do a little bit more of that, but it's almost there. And then with the lathe spinning in reverse at about 400 RPM. And then I'll peel off the disc, each disc in succession as I go through them. And I'll sand this inside corner here by hand. Like that. So, this will take a little while, but not too bad. And I'll bring you back when it's time to put some finish on there. See you in a bit. Time for the finish, and we're going with Howard Feed and Wax this time. And I don't want to put it inside the recess just yet. I'll do that after I've signed it. If I put it on there now, the ink won't stick. This Howard Feed and Wax really, it just feels so good. Because, well, it's mostly wax and orange oil. Looks nice, huh? See you in a bit. I have the piece turned around and mounted up in the recess. And now I'm going to plane off the top. And then what I always like to do with a winged bowl or a flat top bowl like this is have a bead around the bowl opening itself. It's a small bead around there. I just think it looks good. It's not necessary, but I like it. The problem is I didn't leave myself much room here. This is the thinnest point of the rim right here. So I need to bring it down to this. Anyway, that's what I'm going to attempt to do. It's never easy. It's never foolproof. That ought to do it. So now I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to sight down the back side to the edge of the bowl. And that's where I want my bead. So about here. So now that's as far in as I have to come. Now that might be enough. So let's start hollowing it out, and if we have to make another pass, we will. That's only about a 1/16 of an inch, but it might be enough. I'm not used to dealing with a recess, so I want to get inside that recess here and check my depth. Got a ways to go. I knew I did, but you know, you can't be too careful. Feels like about 3/16. And it is 3/16. So now my wall is about as thick as my top. And that's good. I believe we've got it. One more check of the bottom. Yep. We are there. Yep. Okay, I'm going to put a fresh edge on my negative rake scraper and we'll scrape. think we got it. Oh yeah. Yep, it's good. Time for sanding. I'm starting at 80 grit. I'll work up through 400 grit, and I'll bring you back here in just a little bit because that looks like it's going to be pretty easy. And we'll get some finish on there. See you in a bit. Once again, I'm applying the Howard Feed and Wax. The sanding on this went really well. Real easy, just like I thought it would be. And it's just smooth as silk. And I'm really glad I turned the piece in the orientation I did, or else I would have turned away these dark wood highlights here, the heartwood, and that would have been a shame. I sure like that pink color. So I'll let that set on there for 20 minutes or maybe half an hour. I'll buff it up and I'll be back in a little bit. Well, here it is, one Dogwood winged bowl in the books. What do you think? Isn't that pretty grain? Pretty colors? Natural edges? Well, existing edges. We'll call them existing edges. I don't know how it shows up on screen, but in person, this kind of raggedy edge really adds a lot to the piece, in my opinion. There's the bottom all finished up. Just a real pretty piece of wood, and it was fun to make. I love this little bump we got here, little peaky part. It's cool. Thank you, Robert Keys from Mississippi, for sending this along for all to enjoy. If you like this video, thumbs up please, I'd sure appreciate it. If you're a subscriber, thank you very kindly, I truly appreciate that. If you're not a subscriber, you might consider becoming one. I put out regular videos, about one a week, and I'd like to keep in touch. An easy way to subscribe is just click my picture you see there near the end of the video. Your comments are always welcome, and I read all of them. So for now, this is Phil, Shady Acres Woodshop, signing off.